I wasn't expecting a celebration, not cake, not candles, not confetti. After all, it was just my 46th birthday, and I've never been one for big moments. But I wasn't expecting public humiliation either, not from my wife, and definitely not from my own daughter. It started quiet. Just the clink of wine glasses, soft music humming through our kitchen speaker, and the smell of overpriced takeout that Lisa had ordered from some upscale fusion place I'd never heard of. She poured herself a tall glass of wine, didn't offer me one, didn't even glance in my direction. Instead, she leaned into her new circle, 4 perfectly dressed strangers she called friends now. Not one of them had ever stepped foot into our home before. But here they were, taking over the dining room like it had always belonged to them. I stood in the corner, sipping flat soda from a scratched mug, half listening, half existing, fully invisible. And then it happened. Madison, my daughter, 17 years old and glowing with that careless confidence teenagers wear like armor, scrolled through her phone as her friends leaned in. One of them giggled and pointed. "Wait, is that your dad?" Madison didn't even hesitate. She glanced at me, then turned back to them with a smirk. "Yeah, that's him," she said. "You know, he fixes toilets for a living, thinks that makes him a man." They all laughed. She laughed. Even Lisa chuckled into her wine, and then she said it, loud enough for the entire table to hear, loud enough to echo in my chest. "You're a nobody." I froze. My daughter, the same girl I carried on my shoulders at the zoo, the one whose scraped knees I kissed clean when she cried, the one who used to say, "You're my hero, Daddy." Now I was the joke. But it didn't end there. Lisa raised her glass as if to toast the pain and said with a sharp smirk, "Well, it's time you knew the truth." She motioned toward the man across the table, a stranger in a designer suit I hadn't noticed before. Polished, loud laugh, fake smile. "This is Derek," she said. "He owns 3 restaurants in the city. He's more of a man than you've ever been." Then she looked me dead in the eyes. "You were always just temporary." And just like that, the air in the room turned to ice. No one blinked. No one stopped her. Not one person said a word. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the wine bottle. I didn't plead or ask why. I just stood up, quietly, calmly, walked up the stairs, my heart pounding so loud it drowned out their laughter, each beat a punch in the ribs, each step heavier than the last. In the bedroom, I grabbed a single duffel bag, one bag, no hesitation, no farewell notes, no drama, just clothes, charger, wallet. That's all I'd need. I zipped it shut as the sound of their celebration carried upstairs. Laughter, glasses clinking, more wine poured. I walked down the stairs, slowly, one last look at the people I had once called family. Lisa didn't even glance up. I opened the door, stepped outside, and for the first time in years, peace, silence, clean, crisp, cold, but peaceful. I sat in my truck at the edge of a darkened park, engine off, keys in my hand. Not sure where I was going, not sure what would come next, but damn sure I was never going back. And that's when my phone buzzed, then again and again. 29 missed calls, 1 from Madison, 2 from Lisa, 26 from unknown numbers, and 1 from Derek. I stared at the screen, and I smiled, because I'd already decided they were going to regret every single word. I didn't turn the phone off because I couldn't handle the calls. I turned it off because I didn't want to. Their panic wasn't my concern anymore. Their guilt was just noise. I pulled the blanket from the backseat of my truck, threadbare, faded from years of family road trips, and curled up across the cracked leather bench. It wasn't warm, it wasn't soft, but for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. No sarcasm. No rolled eyes. No being talked over. Just the hum of a laundromat's neon sign across the street, buzzing through the quiet like a lullaby only the broken understand. I didn't sleep much, didn't need to, because my thoughts were wide awake, painting pictures of everything I'd sacrificed, everything they'd thrown away like trash. By sunrise, I was at the corner booth of a diner that still served hash browns the old way. No reservations, no fusion menus. Just chipped mugs, scalding hot coffee, and a waitress named Betty who called everyone Hon. I sat alone, corner seat, facing the window, steam rising from my cup, Black coffee, like the thoughts in my head. It wasn't about revenge, not yet, not exactly. It was about the question that refused to leave me alone. How did I end up here? I gave them everything, everything. Lisa and I met when she was still working part-time at a dusty little bookstore, surrounded by secondhand novels and stale air. I was just a plumbing apprentice. Calloused hands, grease under my nails. But I had dreams, real ones. I told her once, "Give me 10 years, you'll never have to lift a finger again." She smiled, touched my face, and said something I'd never forget. "Just don't forget who was there when you had nothing." I didn't, but turns out she did. I built a life from scratch, started with weekend jobs fixing leaky pipes and broken water heaters in strangers' basements, took night classes to get certified, studied while everyone else slept, and eventually, after years of sweating through summers and freezing through winters, I launched my own plumbing business. We bought a house, paid off her car, took family road trips. I made every parent-teacher meeting, even the ones Lisa said were a waste of time. When Madison broke her arm in 4th grade, I was there holding her through the night. When Lisa wanted to try graphic design, I paid for every class. I believed in her before she believed in herself, and now I was temporary. Just the man who fixed toilets. But you know what they say about working in sewage? You learn how to deal with filth. So I opened my laptop, connected to the diner's Wi-Fi, and got to work. I wasn't Googling how to win your family back. I wasn't writing sad diary entries. I was researching, strategically, divorce lawyers, reputation consultants, tax auditors, private investigators, names, reviews, credentials. I even bookmarked a forensic accountant and a guy named Yusuf, ex-law enforcement, now an expert in clean burnouts. Cases where one spouse needs to dismantle the other without lifting a single finger. I ordered another coffee. Let them laugh. Let Lisa think I was sleeping in some sketchy motel. Let Madison post her TikToks about her new bonus dad. Let them believe they'd won, because while they were celebrating their cruelty, I was quietly building the storm. I was going to let Lisa move Derek into my house. Let Madison flaunt designer shopping bags on social media. Let them get comfortable, drunk on their own pride. And when they least expected it, I'd flip the entire story on its head. 2 weeks passed. No screaming, no angry voicemails, no late-night texts begging me to come home, just silence. A heavy, arrogant silence, the kind that says, he'll come crawling back. But I didn't. Lisa hadn't filed for divorce. She probably thought I was still in shock, maybe staying at some roadside motel, crying into old anniversary photos. Maybe she imagined me scrolling through her social media, watching Derek play dad while Madison called him D. She didn't know I was watching, just not the way she expected. I'd hired him 2 days after I walked out. Yusuf, ex-law enforcement, now a full-time private investigator, specialized in what he called clean burnouts. His words, not mine. "You don't need revenge," he told me over coffee. "You need clarity, leverage, deniability." I nodded. 3 days later, he delivered. Photos. Dozens of them. Derek. At first, they were just routine shots. Him at one of his restaurants. Him with Lisa, arm draped around her, playing the perfect couple. But then, him with a hostess, her name tag blurred in the corner of the photo. Him with an intern, hand too low on her back. Him slipping into a hotel lobby, solo, then exiting 2 hours later, with someone who wasn't Lisa. Yusuf didn't stop there. He brought receipts, timestamps, restaurant tabs, security footage stills. He even dug into Derek's businesses. Turns out, the man who owns 3 restaurants owned 3 disasters. 2 were deep in debt. 1 had been cited for multiple health violations. Another was built illegally on rezoned property. He looked rich, but it was all credit, lies, and borrowed time. And Lisa, tied to him on paper, co-signed, beneficiary of business insurance, her name everywhere, perfect. I packaged everything neatly and sent it, anonymously, to a tax lawyer. Also sent a copy to a local business journalist with a little nudge. Included Lisa's name as domestic partner and financial contributor. If Derek burned, she'd go down with him. Meanwhile, Madison, still oblivious, kept uploading her smug little TikToks. Out with Mom and Dee, showing them shopping at a high-end mall. New dad, old one, captioned over a video of Derek tossing his card at the cashier like he was some celebrity. She thought she was being clever, but all she was doing was documenting financial fraud in real time. Every designer bag, every luxury store swipe was linked to a credit card. My credit card. You see, I'd frozen the accounts quietly, then reactivated them for a few days, just long enough to let them get comfortable. Then, right as they sat down to dinner at some overpriced steakhouse, I cut them all off again. The bill? Over $700. The fallout? The waiter took a photo as Lisa screamed at him, Derek arguing with the manager, Madison trying not to cry. That photo? Ended up on Yelp. Maybe I helped it get there. Caption read, couple throws tantrum after cards are declined. Woman screams, my husband will pay. Spoiler, he didn't. Let them laugh, right? Well, I was laughing now, but I wasn't done. Lisa always wore control like perfume. Subtle, expensive, overpowering. She didn't shout to be in charge. She just expected the world to orbit around her. A glance, a smirk, a purse on the table. That was her currency. But that control, it started slipping. Quietly at first. She walked into the bank with Derek by her side. Stylish, polished, ready to throw money around like confetti. But the banker didn't smile. She typed a few keys and paused. Ma'am, I'm afraid this joint account has been legally dissolved. Lisa blinked. What? The banker turned the screen slightly, her voice as calm as an executioner's. It was in your husband's name only, and per the legal documentation, you were removed from all access. 2 weeks ago. Lisa straightened up. That's a mistake. We own everything together. The house, the car, everything is shared. The banker didn't flinch. She simply slid a document across the desk. My lawyer's notarized removal paperwork, filed and finalized while Lisa was drinking wine and laughing at my birthday. Derek leaned in, trying to play the tough guy. Don't you know who I am? The banker didn't even blink. And that was the moment it started, the crack in her voice, the panic behind Derek's forced smirk, the realization that I hadn't disappeared, I'd simply been watching. 3 hours later, Lisa came home, heels clicking, breath shallow, only to find a bright orange city notice stapled to the front door. Pending seizure, unpaid business property taxes. She ripped it down, hands shaking. What the hell is this? I watched from across the street, inside a borrowed sedan Yusef had loaned me, engine off, eyes sharp. She looked different now, not polished, not powerful, just desperate. Madison ran out onto the lawn, holding her phone. Mom, the internet's down, and I can't get into Netflix. Lisa didn't answer. She was too busy reading the fine print. Derek's restaurant accounts were frozen. The property tax liens were official. Meanwhile, my email buzzed. A message from the IRS. They'd acknowledged the anonymous tip. An investigation was underway. Attached was a receipt confirming both Derek and Lisa's bank accounts had been flagged. 2 days later, the story broke in the local paper. Restaurateur under tax fraud investigation, girlfriend named as co-conspirator. Right there on the front page. Lisa's face, still smiling, but now infamous. Her employer suspended her. Her influencer, friends, vanished. Madison's TikTok account flooded with hate. Even Derek, once so smug, so full of ego, started pulling away. He hadn't signed up to go down with the ship. Lisa tried to call me. Once, then again. 28 missed calls, and then a message. I don't know what you've done, but please, we need to talk. You're ruining our lives. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent her a single photo. It was from our anniversary dinner, the night she humiliated me in front of our daughter. She was raising a glass, mid-toast, drunk on her own audacity, and I was sitting beside her, smiling quietly, still believing we were something. I typed one sentence beneath the photo. You toasted to your freedom, now drink it to the last drop. Lisa stood in what used to be a warm, lived-in home, now stripped bare, cold, echoing. The curtains were gone. The TV? Gone. Even the couch? Vanished. All hauled away 2 nights ago by movers while she was out pleading with Derek to stay. The only thing left in the living room was silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that fills your chest with dread. The kind that makes a house feel haunted, not by ghosts, but by choices. Upstairs, Madison's voice cracked. "Mom, someone just posted a video about us." "It's going viral!" Lisa rushed up, heart thudding in her throat, grabbed her daughter's phone, and froze. Right there, on screen, was a YouTube thumbnail that drained the color from her face. Cheating wife humiliates husband at his birthday, but he gets the last laugh. 1.3 million views, tens of thousands of comments, rising every minute. She tapped the video. It started with footage from that night, our dining room, laughter, the wine toast. A phone had recorded it all. Madison's words, clear and sharp like glass. "You're a nobody. You fix toilets. That's not a man." The screen cut to leaked text messages, screenshots, photos of her and Derek. Then, court documents, the frozen bank account, the property seizure notice, and the Yelp photo from the steakhouse. Lisa screaming. Derek caught mid-argument with the waiter. The final shot? Madison's smug TikTok. Overlay text reading, "New dad, old one." The comments were brutal. This man's revenge was pure art. She raised a clone of herself. "This is karma dressed in a black coat." Lisa's hands shook. Madison was crying now, eyes wide with disbelief. "They're calling me a bully, a monster. Mom, make it stop." Lisa couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, couldn't believe how fast the world had flipped on her. Her phone buzzed again. Derek. She answered in a panic. "Listen," he said, voice clipped and strained. "This is getting out of control. My investors are pulling out. My lawyer says your ex-husband might have recorded everything legally." A pause. "I can't do this, Lisa." Click. He hung up, just like that. Derek was gone. The man who was more of a man than I ever was, vanished the second the ship started to sink. Lisa collapsed to the floor, clutching her phone like it might undo the damage. But it couldn't. Nothing could. And then, downstairs, the front door creaked open. Her head snapped up. She flinched, then turned, and I stepped in, calm, sharp, black coat, eyes unreadable. I hadn't spoken to her in over a month. She gasped. "You..." I said nothing at first, just walked in, holding a small velvet box. I placed it gently on the coffee table. It was the wedding ring, the one she mockingly threw in the sink the night she destroyed our family. I had fished it out quietly before the movers came. Next, I handed her a neatly folded piece of paper. She opened it slowly. A check, for exactly $1. She blinked. "What is this?" I looked her dead in the eye. "It's your share of what you're owed. After debts, after taxes, after court settlements." She opened her mouth to speak, but I turned away. And just before I stepped out the door, I said, without looking back, "You once said I was temporary. Now you're the one left behind." 1 year later, the world had changed, but more importantly, I had. The air was different now. Clean, crisp, still. The kind of stillness that doesn't scare you, because you earned it. I stood on the porch of my lakeside cabin, coffee in one hand, serenity in the other. No chaos, no accusations, no noise. Just the soft rustle of wind through pine trees and the quiet hum of water against the shore. It was a modest place, nothing flashy, no marble countertops or luxury furniture. But it was mine. Built with clean hands, honest work, and scars I no longer hid. I stepped inside. Photos lined the wall, but none from the past. No wedding pictures, no blurry vacation selfies with forced smiles, no fake moments held together by lies. Instead, a hiking trip with my brother, us grinning, covered in dust and sweat. Me shaking hands with the CEO who'd hired me for a major engineering contract just months after I'd restarted my life. And one more. a recent one. A simple, smiling selfie with someone new. She didn't care about money. She didn't care about image. She didn't care if my hands were rough from fixing pipes or building new systems. She cared that I was present, that I was real, that I never once made her feel invisible. She never compared me to a man who owned restaurants, because to her, I was already more than enough. The world thought I'd been humiliated, abandoned, broken, but they didn't know the truth. I didn't fall apart. I rebuilt. I took the bricks they threw at me and built a life so high above them they'll never even smell the air I breathe. My phone buzzed once. It was from Youssef, the PI, final update. Derek declared bankruptcy last month. Lisa's working part-time at a diner. No fixed address. Madison moved out. Rumor is they're estranged. I read it, and I felt nothing. No triumph, no rage, no satisfaction. Just peace. The kind that doesn't need to be posted. The kind that doesn't need validation. I tucked the phone away and walked to my desk. Inside the top drawer was a note. Handwritten, folded, worn at the edges. Madison, 6 months ago. Dad, I'm sorry. I was young and stupid. I didn't understand. I miss you. I miss who I was when you believed in me. I hadn't replied. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe not. Because forgiveness isn't a race, and healing doesn't come with a deadline. For now, I had earned the right to be free of their noise. Outside, the sun was rising, golden light spilling across the lake like a second chance. I opened the back door, let it pour over me. I wasn't a nobody. I was a man who survived them, a man who walked away stronger. Was this revenge, or was it something deeper, something more powerful? If this story made you think, if it made you feel, if it made you remember, tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this kind of quiet strength. Because here on Love is Blind, every lie has its reckoning, every betrayal has its shadow, and every silence hides an ending they never saw coming. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay free.